Alright guys, welcome back to Death from Above 40k. It's battle report time and we've upped the points. We've got a 2,000 point game here today and it is between the Imperial Fists and the Iron Warriors, an age-old battle. I love these sorts of battles because classic battles, you know, Tyranids versus bloody Blood Angels, Orcs versus Space Wolves, that kind of thing, the classic stuff, the good stuff. Alright, I've got Jakey Boy back here with me. He's actually staying with me for a while during this isolation period so that we can keep filming all this sort of stuff. He's going to be heading up the Iron Warriors and I'm going to be heading up the Imperial Fists. So in the list today we've got a few different things going on. One of the things I want to talk about first is we're going to try out some new stuff today because there's been some leaked stuff about Marines now having 2 wounds and Chainswords being AP 1 and Power Fists being flat damage 2. A few little bits and bobs like that. We're going to try that out today. So that means that all these Chaos Marines over here, the troops choices will have 2 wounds each. The guys up front, the Chainswords, will have AP 1 Chainswords. Same thing over here. These Marines will have 2 wounds a pop. And the Terminators will have 3 wounds a pop. And we're going to try those out. I know they're not official rules yet, but we want to see how it goes just to, you know, I love old school Marines and giving them any kind of buff like that and a reason to bring them out is always good. Alright, let's go over the list. So, first up, Jakey Boy is heading up the Iron Warriors. There is 2 detachments here. So he's got a Spearhead detachment, which he's paid the 3 command points for. So, we'll go over that first. So, Spearhead detachment. He's got a Chaos Lord up the front here, and it's got just a Maul and a Combi Bolter. Just keep it real simple. And then in that Spearhead detachment, he's got a Vindicator, a Forge Fiend, and a Defiler. Alright, the rest of the army, HQ choices. We'll start with the big fella in the middle. This is the Warlord, the Hellstalker, Lord Discordant, badass mother effer. If you watch the channel, you know what this guy does. His Warlord trait is Iron Without, which gives him a Feel No Pain, and he's got the Relic Incendium, which gives him a +1 Strength, Toughness, and Wound. Just that makes him a boost. Alright. Then we've got a Lord of Possession. He's going to have the healing powers, like he heals Demon Engines, and the other one, I can't remember the name of it. It gives rerolls of 1 to hit and to wound. So that'll be his 2 powers. Then we've got a Demon Prince, Malefic Talons, Warp Bolter. He's just going to have warp time for his power. So they're the 4 HQs. Now for troops, at the front, he's got an 8-man squad of Chaos Space Marines. They got Chainswords and Bolt Pistols. One of them has a Flamer, and then the champion has a Combi Flamer and a Power Axe. Then behind them, we've got 1, 2, 3 Chaos Space Marine squads. 5 of in each unit, all just with bolt guns and 1 las cannon in each squad. So that covers the troops. Then in elites, he's got 1 Greater Possessed, 2 Greater Possessed, and then a Hellbrute with las cannons and rocket. So that covers the elites part. And then the big chunk of the army that he's got, which is heavy support. He's got 6 heavy support choices here. So 3 in the battalion, 3 in the spearhead. So in the battalion, we've got 3 Venom Crawlers. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes with the Lord Discordant buffing all these Demon Engines. And I'm actually pretty keen to see how this goes now that it can move and shoot. The old Vindicator, move and shoot and blast things. And it's a blast weapon now too. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, so that's the Iron Warriors, 2,000 points of. I think you'll be coming into the battlefield with 9 command points from what we can read. Correct us if we're wrong, but do it politely. Come on guys, let's work together. Alright, let's go over my Imperial Fists. This is all Trueborn Space Marines, all old school, no Primaris here. Not that I don't like Primaris, I've got a lot of Primaris, but I also love my old school Marines. Now let's go over it. This is a battalion, and we've also got an assassin. Alright, so in the army, what do we got? We'll break it down. So HQ choices. We've got Captain on a bike, which is the Warlord. He's got a Power Fist and a Storm Bolter. He's got Iron Resolve, which gives him the 6 up Feel No Pain and an extra wound for his Warlord trait. and he's a chapter master. So he's also got paid the 2 command points for that. And he's got the relic, the Eye of Hypnos. So not only does he give the full rerolls to hit, he gives reroll 1s to wound. So that'll make him a bit of a mini girly man. Not really. Next to him, we've got the chaplain. I've paid 1 command point to make him a Master of Sanctity, so he knows 2 things, and he also gets to reroll. He's got Catechism of Fire and Reticulus of Focus. So pretty much, he can give a unit a +1 to hit and a +1 to wound, which is pretty handy. Then next to him, we've got the Lieutenant, and he's just got a Mastercrafted bolt gun and just a chainsword. I've got to model them on there, but all the sergeants and everything have now got chainswords. We're gonna put them on there because if they're AP1 and they're free, that's cool. So they're the 3 HQs. Troops choices. We've got tactical squad, all with bolt guns, sergeant with chainsword, and heavy bolter. This one is identical, same thing again. Then third troops choice, we've got multi-melter, bolt guns, and then the sergeant has chainsword and combi melter. So they're the troops. Then for elites, we've got the chapter champion with his mastercrafted power sword. We've got a unit of terminators, shooty terminators. They got their bolt guns, not bolt guns, storm bolters, and they've got a cyclone missile in there as well. We've got an ironclad dreadnought, lots of bolt guns, 2 missiles, and a siege drill. I just like this model, and I've had it lying around for a long time, so that's why he's in the army. Old school is cool. So they're the 3 elites choices. Heavy sport. Fast attack. 3 land speeders. Typhoon missile launchers, heavy bolters. Keep it simple. Now they can move and shoot without penalty. They are like the old 7th edition, zipping around and just blowing stuff up. So that's pretty cool. Heavy sport. Thunderfire cannon. Devastator squad with all grav. They've also got a drop pod. And then we've got Land Raider Crusader. And it's got the multi-melter and the extra storm bolter on top. So that comes in at 2,000 points. Oh, we've also got, a Calidus Assassin. We've got the Assassin. I have no idea. I've not used an Assassin for a long time, so we're just going to have to see how this goes. So if I mess up my Assassin usage, take it easy on me, guys. All right. So that is 2,000 points of Imperial Fists. They will be also have spent 3 command points, 2 for Chapter Master and 1 for Master of Sanctity. So both armies will be coming into the battle to start with 9 command points. So we'll roll up the mission and we'll get back to you in a minute. Alright guys, we've rolled up a mission and it is called Frontline Warfare. So the aim of the game in Frontline Warfare is to have a warfare on the front line. Nah, dad jokes aside. So pretty much there's 4 objectives on the battlefield. They're all placed 18 outwards from the centre. So 1 coming back this way in the Imperial Fist deployment zone. 1 off to the right. 1 off to the left. And then if we come around this side, we've got another E underneath this lord here. Now, victory points wise, you don't score any in the first battle round. They're progressive from second turn. So you get 5 points for each of the objectives that you hold, up to a maximum of 15 points per turn. So obviously the more you hold moving on in the battle, the better off. Those are scored at the start of your command phase. So you want to get on them, and then at the start of your next turn, you got to stay on them. So it gives your opponent a good chance to shoot you off them, which makes it quite strategic. I like that you score the points at the start of your turn rather than at the end of your turn. Makes for a better battlefield. Secondaries are that if you hold the ones in the centre here, you get a bonus 2 victory points for those ones. And if you hold the one in your opponent's deployment zone, it's a bonus 3. So it'll jump up to 7, 7, and 8. for secondaries for both armies, we're just keeping it simple. You get an extra point for each unit you kill, and we're going to go with Warlord, just for the simplicity of the amount of points that are going to be going up, racking up, all that sort of stuff, and also so that we can focus on the actual strategy of the game rather than trying to continually remember these things as we're learning 9th edition. Because even though we've pumped out a fair few battle reports, I don't believe that anyone is fully equipped with this until at least 6 months in. Alright, so we'll go over the deployment. I got to set up first due to the nature of my Imperial Fist army, so pretty much we'll start with over here. Right hand side, we've got 3 land speeders and then the chapter master on the bike there. In the centre holding this, which is probably not a good deployment for this, but it's the only thing really in my army that sits back. Thunderfire cannon. Then over here we've got the Land Raider Crusader. Inside the Land Raider Crusader are 2 tactical squads with heavy bolters, the champion and the lieutenant. Then behind there we've got the chaplain, because he's going to be buffing this Land Raider up into a beast, just a bloody beast. Then next to him we've got the Ironclad Dreadnought. Now this army also has the assassin will be coming in soon. Then we've got Terminators in Deep Strike, and we've got a drop pod which has another tactical squad with the multi-melter and the Devastator squad in it. So lots of flexibility in this army. We will be having first turn, so we'll go check out what Jake's done in his defense. So start from the right hand side. He's got a Demolisher, a Vindicator. Play too many armies, sorry guys. Behind them, he's got the Chainsword Bolt Pistol guys, using all that as cover. He's got the Defiler next to it. He's got the Demon Prince in here. Forge Fiend next to it. Then if we go to the centre here, he's got like a bloody castle worth of dudes in here. Just las cannons and bolt guns there. He's got 3 tactical squads and the Lord. And then if we come over this side, he's got the 3 Venom Crawlers, 2 Greater Possessed, Lord of Possession, the big lad hidden behind here so I can't blow him away first turn, and then he's got a sneaky Hellbrood over here. Now just a quick thing as well, so all these bits in the middle and everything, we're counting them as, if you've got infantry up against them, counts for ruins, everything, it's a -1 to hit and a +1 to your cover. So that goes for all these ruins, except for if you're out in the open in this will just give you +1 cover. But all the other ruins, -1 to hit, +1 cover. And obviously then the obscured, if you can't fully see the base of something, same things go. So at this current point we've got the siege in the middle here. So we'll get to it. We'll have Space Marine Imperial Fist turn 1 and see what they do. Alright guys, end of Imperial Fist turn 1. And it was a pretty successful barrage of destruction. So, obviously command phase, got a command point. Nothing to write home about. Movement, so the land speeders were over this side. We shifted them over this side. Obviously rolled to run with him to keep up. And there he is, kept up. Siege cannon stayed still. Dreadnought just walked forward, fired off his missiles. That's the same reason he walked. Land Raider moved forward. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I covered in the first bit that all this centre bit in the middle, vehicles are allowed to just drive over the top of it just because it's ruins. Drop pod come down, emptied out the tacticals on this side, and the Devastators sort of all in here. And that is about it for movement. And the Calidus Assassin came over here and did nothing. So forget that she even exists. 100 points just wasted. Alright, first things first. The land speeders shot over, and also with the combination of this, the melters from here, so the 3 land speeders and the melters out of here, blew away the Defiler. And then the Devastator squad here, I paid for the grab amp amplifiers and just absolutely melted the crap out of the Vindicator. This guy got the +1 to wound off on this, but not the +1 to hit, even with the reroll. So then all of the firepower off this, so the multi-melter shot, into the Forge Fiend and did nothing, just bounced off him. And then all of the small arms fire hit these guys. I only killed 3 of them, so having the 2 wounds, as we said at the start, has made a big difference. So they're still there, and they passed their leadership. And that's about it as far as shooting goes. So I scored 2 points for killing 2 units, but obviously we don't get any of these points till the start of our next command phase. So that's why I've shifted over here with a strong presence on top of this, and hopefully he can't move me off it, and hopefully I've outmaneuvered him over this way, because that shit is nasty. Alright, we'll get back to you with Chaos turn 1. Alright guys, end of Iron Warriors turn 1. There's been some moving, some shaking, some shooting. So we'll start over here. Hellbrute moved out to get line of sight across here. All these scuttled forward. Lord Discordant ran. That's why he's all the way over here. This guy ran. This guy ran. This guy ran. So they're all over there. Everything in the middle stayed here. Forge Fiend stayed here. And all this stuff ended up in the grill of all this stuff over here. So, Psychic phase. This guy got off to reroll 1s to hit and to wound. This is the only Psychic power he cast because it was the only one that was necessary. Shooting wise, the Hellbrute finished off one of the land speeders over here single-handedly. Then these guys, the 3 of these, shot over. Now you managed to take wounds, 3 wounds off this one. Now that's due to obviously the obscured, so it was like they were less accurate shooting. So even though the Lord Discordant gives them +1 to hit, shooting they were at a -1 to hit, and it wasn't very successful shooting. So that's what happened on this side over here. All of these las cannons fired into this Land Raider and whiffed. It was terrible. Jake looked like he was going to start crying. It's okay. The rest of the bolt guns fired into the Devastators but didn't do anything. This fired into the Devastators. He used the stratagem Forged. Oh god. The one that gives you reroll hits and reroll wounds. Shot into here. Killed 2 of the Devastators, but they passed leadership, so they're still there. The Demon Prince and these guys. The Demon Prince multi-charged into the Land Raider to hopefully slow it down a bit, and these guys charged in. They finished off the tactical squad that was there, and got a little bit closer towards the objective here. Now, at the end of the Chaos first turn, they've killed 2 units, so they're also on 2 points. Even though it doesn't look like they did as much damage, they have at least kept the points tied. So we'll go into the Imperial Fist turn 2 and see what we can do. See if we can kill some more demon engines. Alright guys, at the end of Imperial Fist turn 2, it was an absolute stonker of a turn, and we have just walked up and be like, POW! Foot to the face! Fucking, this is terror. Bang! So, let's run through what happened. Alright, we'll start with the movement phase. Obviously, these have ended up way the back over here. Terminators have come down here. This stayed where it was. Dreadnought sort of moseyed on up a bit here. All the guys got out of the Land Raider. So, you know, the Champion, the Lieutenant, the 2 units are in there and have sort of all manoeuvred so that they're on the cover. So they're getting the -1 to hit and the +1 to their save. These guys stayed up here. And the Assassin is still over here doing sweet FA. Or sweet fuck all. Whatever you want to call it. You tell me. 100 points. Hasn't done a fucking thing. Alright. But the rest of the army's pulling their weight. Let's go through what happened. We're going to start over here because this was where it got crazy. So, the Terminators landed here, hugging the cover. Because I wanted to head off this. I thought we need something in the way here. So, the combined firepower of the 2 land speeders, the Chapter Master, and this unit of Terminators decimated the Lord Discordant. Fucking punched him out of his socks with missiles to the face. I think this is the first time in a long time that the Lord Discordant's even died. The dice were on fire. Missiles and even the bolt rounds, because for those of you that don't know, Imperial Fists when they roll a 6, they get an extra shot with their bolt round. So all this bolter fire and heavy bolters and bolters with bolters on them, and then some bolters strapped with bolters plus missiles. Boom! Gonskis. So that was Warlord and a point there. Then over here, the chaplain did both of his litanies. So the Land Raider stayed in combat with the Demon Prince, and he did his litany of the +1 to hit and +1 to wound. And this thing just pumped the bloody Demon Prince just full of good times. Just fucking get the fuck off me tank, and just smoked his ass. Bits and pieces of him just all over the shop. Obviously it couldn't move or anything like that, but I've been waiting and waiting, battle report after battle report, to be able to do that shooting combat, and it looks like Land Raider Crusaders do it well. These used the Grav Amp again stratagem and took 6 wounds off the big guy here, but he's still there. All of these guys and this Dreadnought here shot up into here and killed another unit in here, netting another point. And then to finish off the round in combat, the champion and, sorry about the focus there, the champion and the chaplain ran in, and the champion just cut the entire unit of Chaos Warriors down here, netting yet another point. So at the end of Imperial Fist's turn 2, they're on, count them up, 12, 19 points. Sorry, 17 points, not 19 points, because they got 5 for holding this one, 5 for holding this one, and obviously all the kill points, plus Warlord. So, good turn. There's still plenty of chaos on the battlefield. Let's see if they can do something this turn, and we'll get back to you. Alright guys, end of Chaos, Iron Warriors, turn 2. A little amendment before we move on. The Imperial Fists actually earn 2 more points because you get a bonus 2 for this one here. So they're on 19 points, not 17. So we just thought we'd clear that up before we go through this round. Alright, what happened here? So, movement wise, these guys stayed still. These guys all stayed in the building. The Chaos Lord's out here punching on. Over here, these guys have all made a big push forward over here. And that is about it for movement. Psychic wise, this guy, the only thing he got off was the rerolls to hit of ones for rerolls of ones for hits and wounds. It's a bloody mouthful to say. Alright, over here. So this thing shot into this unit here and reduced them down to 2 guys, but they passed their leadership. Las cannons did nothing again, but the bolt rounds fired down into these guys here, and I think they killed one. The Lord ran in there and he killed another one, and then he lost 2 wounds, so that was a bit of a bummer. Moving over this side's where all the action happened. So this thing whiffed, didn't do anything. The 3 Venom Crawlers managed to clear out the rest of the land speeders, and also in doing so, one of them blew up and took a mortal wound off the Chapter Master. But then something strange happened. All 3 of them here charged in here, and I thought they'd absolutely cleave their way through these Terminators, but they managed to kill 2 of them, and then the Terminators took 6 wounds back off this bad boy here. So they managed to kill a couple of land speeders, netting them some more points, 2 more points for that. And then also they held this at the start, which got them 7 points, and this one, which got them another 5 points. So total of, what have we got over here? 16 points at the end of round 2. So Chaos on 16 points, Imperial Fists on 19 points, and the battle goes on. There's still a lot of Demon Engines over here, and they are pushing towards my valuable objective in the back line. So we'll see what happens. He's also stalled me here by putting things in place to stop me pushing forward, but we'll see what we can do. So we'll get back to you at the end of Imperial Fist turn 3. Alright guys, end of Imperial Fist turn 3. Some crazy stuff's happened, but not that crazy, a little bit crazy. Alright, movement wise, this come barreling forward, the big old Land Raider, Dreadnought come forward. These guys have sort of moved forward, some of them moved forward willingly and some out of combat. This thing's just still standing there. The assassin. Waste of 100 points. And the chapter master moved forward over here. So what we'll do is we'll start over here. Shooting wise, nothing really happened because there was just combat here. This shot, pew, pff, killed a marine in here. Then the rest of the shooting over here. So grav amps, shot over here and finished off the Forge Fiend. And then a combination of this guy, well actually it wasn't a combination at all. It was literally the two litanies put on this Land Raider again and just absolutely decimated. That dice shouldn't be there. Decimated the unit that was up in these rafters. Just fucking blew them away. There was nothing left. These guys were stuck in combat with the Lord here. The champion come running in and just cut him down. No combat there for that guy, and then they've sort of moved forward. That's all that sort of happened over there. Over here, so what I did was I charged in with the chapter master into the weakened venom crawler and managed to kill it. Then, as these guys were locked in combat, the venom crawler got to go first. He hit back and killed two of the Terminators, and then hit back and killed one of the Terminators. Then two of the Terminators were there, hit back and took 4 wounds off him, and then this venom crawler just finished him off. So now my chapter master's just out in the open there. Victory points wise, we killed a heap of stuff and then held this one again and held this one again. So the Imperial Fists are on a total of 34 points at the end of turn 3. And the Iron Warriors are on, what's that over there? Still the same amount, 17. So we'll get on with the Iron Warriors turn 4 and see if they can't turn this around. But it's looking pretty bad. But at the same time, because each army's swinging around into the enemy's deployment zone. But if we both do that, it's going to be counterintuitive and he's not going to be able to get ahead. So we'll see what he does. He's might be able to take out my chapter master, but maybe you won't be able to, mate. It's a bloody chapter master. Alright. Alright guys, end of chaos turn 3. So, what's happened? These guys stood still, scored 5 points. Coming over here, these guys were on this objective here, scored 7 points. This thing moved up here to take over responsibility for that. Shot across here, took 6 wounds off the Land Raider. Then these guys all moved forward. So the Venom Crawlers ran straight past the chapter master and shot into the Thunderfire cannon. The guys here did some wounds and stuff and end up killing it, blowing it away. And then these 3 guys here end up mashing the chapter master into the dirt. So they got 2 points for killing the chapter master. Got a point over here for killing Thunderfire cannon, and their other points. So they're currently on 32 points, and the Imperial Fists are on 34 points. Now both sides are starting to run low on resources here, so it's getting a bit grindy, bit down to it. So we'll have to go into Imperial Fists turn 4 and see what they can do to flip this around. All right, guys. Alright guys, end of the Imperial Fists turn 4. What we'll do is we'll go start over this other side and work our way around. So on this side, all of these guys moved into here and removed the Chaos Marines out of here. So there was a bit of shooting going on to soften them up, and then the champion and the assassin just ran in there and just destroyed them. So they've got the home base objective of the Chaos guys. They've scored for holding this one again. This come driving back over here with the chaplain again, and he got both the litanies off again. And then, as you can see, the dreadnoughts all the way over here. So between this Land Raider and these guys, they blew away the venom crawler that was here. Then this guy moved to here, Softened it up with some shooting and then managed to get an 11-inch charge, ran in and finished off the other Venom Crawler. So at the end of Imperial Fist turn 4, absolute ass kickery. So they didn't get any points for holding this one at the start. So they're currently on, just let me tally it up, there's way too many points in 9th editions. We got 30. Woof. Yep. I'm not the greatest at maths, so just bear with me. I think they're on 42 points now. So, and now they've got the enemy base. It's not over just yet, but it's getting near the end. It is really not looking good for Chaos because they've only got these 3 units and this guy left. But we'll let them have another round and see what they can do. Let the battle go on and see what happens. Alright, we'll have Chaos turn 4. See if they can't at least kill this Dreadnought or something. Alright guys. Alright guys, end of Chaos turn 4. And not a lot happened, pretty much. This guy stayed there, scored some points. These guys moved forward. This guy shot and softened up the Dreadnought. I think he took about 4 wounds off, and then all of these guys charged him and blew him up, scoring another point. But then he exploded, doing 2 mortal wounds, 2 mortal wounds, and 1 mortal wound. So they are on the home objective, but it's not looking good because they've got 38 points. So it's not looking real good. So we're going to go on with Imperial Fist turn 4 and see what happens. It's not a good day for the Chaos at this point in time, but who knows what will happen. This is a dice game. Alright, we'll get back to yous in a minute. Alright guys, end of Imperial Fist turn, and it is a tabling, a domination, an absolute smasher. So at the end of this turn, the Imperial Fist hit maximum of 50 points, and they've also tabled their opponent. Let's run through what happened. Grav unit shot into the possessed that was here and finished him off. The Land Raider split fire, so it used its autocannons and multi-melter, fired over into here and finished off the Hellbrute. Also, both Canicles went off on this, so it was hitting and wounding at +1. Then it used its bolt weaponry, all the bolters on it, and finished off the Lord of Possession. And then this guy ran in and killed the last possessed. So, that's the end of the game. It's an absolute domination by the Imperial Fist. We hope you enjoyed it. We were discussing man of the match. Jake just went with Venom Crawls because he reckons in this match they put in the most work. You know, just pushing across here. They gunned down land speeders. They punched through Terminators. You know, they generally got their way all the way to here and supported, you know, taking over my objective. I'm giving the combination to these two because the Land Raider's good, but then when you give this guy with the Canicles, giving the +1 to hit and +1 to wound, it just turns him into a giant blender. It's a really good combination. Marines with 2 wounds and, you know, the chain swords and the power fist stuff all went really well. I think if that's it and they're going to give Marines 2 wounds and you want to play traditional Marines, because I know I personally love them, that's why I made this army, then they're going to be good to go. Like, obviously Primaris still have some perks over them with extra AP on the bolters and range and stuff like that, but it's put some real good good future prospects into the old vanilla Marines. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys, and we'll get back to you with the next one. Alright.